Hello, everyone, and welcome to Con Nerds Tips and Tricks. This is something where Robbie and me, the ManNerd, are going to talk about our trip to a convention, which this one was San Diego Comic-Con 2023. What did you think about that, Robbie? Just the whole experience.
Oh, man, it was crazy. So much fun from start to finish, but it was a lot.
A lot. A lot going on. So why don't we start off with before the con, if you're lucky enough to get tickets, which that can be difficult sometimes. What are the things that they should do beforehand to prepare?
Beforehand, if you manage to get tickets, jump on those hotel sales, those room share as far as like Airbnb, Vrbo, all those. Find sales in the San Diego area near the convention site so that you can save a little bit of money when finding some lodging, because it can get very expensive very quickly, depending on where you're trying to stay.
Very quickly. Yeah. For us, it was very hard to get a hotel. Even when I got the tickets last November, I was looking for hotels right then, and it just was not happening. It was too expensive, or they just weren't available. Eventually, as you keep checking, sometimes you might get lucky, or there's the Comic-Con hotel blocks that they open up at a certain time, so keep an eye on that. But we were pretty lucky. We got a place, 10-15 minutes away from the convention center driving?
Yeah,
not too bad.
Not bad at all.
Okay, so now the schedule. This was your big thing here. You are all about that schedule. So why don't you talk about it?
Yes, I ended up doing my scheduling late, unfortunately. So this actually also goes into the preparation side of things. You can get the Comic-Con app, which I highly recommend. You can set up a schedule for yourself through that app, and basically you can block out certain periods of time for programs that you want to see, exhibits that you want to visit in the exhibit hall, and we'll definitely get to the exhibit hall in just a moment. But as far as seeing panels, movie premieres, world premieres of different comics and video games and everything in between, you can set that schedule up in the app. You can also do it, through your calendar or whatever other ways you want to do it. It just makes it very easy and seamless to do it through that Comic-Con app. But it's, Andrew knows, I spend so much time
many hours
getting our schedule ready the day before we hit it in the convention, and then during the convention trying to just put different options for us. So I actually put multiple things per time slot so we could kind of pick and choose what we wanted to do, and we just found what was most interesting to us, but that does not necessarily mean it will be interesting to everyone. So they have a flavor of nerd for absolutely everyone. So whether you're into video games, comic books, movies, anything in the nerddom sphere, tabletop RPGs, tabletop games, board games, it's incredible.
Yeah, just to give you a scope of that, the panels and all the presentations that are going on, they typically go every half hour-ish to every hour, but you are looking at 20 to 50 panels and stuff to choose from every hour or every half hour. It is incredible. So that's why we urge you, check out the schedule, go through it, pick what you would be interested in, and then recheck it as you're there, because a lot of stuff gets switched around.
Yes, and in a case like ours, because this is taking place July of 2023, this is during the writer's strike and the actor's strike currently going on. So a lot of things were canceled, but a lot of things got replaced. There was a lot of changes happening on the fly that we had to be careful of. So I know I personally went to one show thinking that it was going to happen, and it ended up being canceled. So, but again, you can check that through the app. I should have checked the app because it actually listed that it was canceled. So.
All right, so now moving on. Now we did the pre-prep. You get your place to stay, you look at the schedule. Now you're there. First day. Probably a good idea to get there, around 9:15, because people start lining up to get into those doors.
That's the time we got there. I believe they do have some stuff going on around 7 a.m. So some people do prefer to get there at 6 in the morning, but I'm not sure if that's at the convention center, if that's one of the surrounding sites, because as we learned, Comic-Con, as you tweeted out, ManNerd, that Comic-Con is more than just the convention center. It's the entire surrounding area. There are multiple hotels that they use for viewings and for panels and other things. So it was
the library, the
Yes.
marina, the Gaslamp Quarter. Yeah, lots of areas. So it's basically like a huge festival. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, so I recommend bringing sunscreen. Definitely protect yourself while you're out there, because
That was mistake number one on the first
a lot
day.
of walking between the sites, and it is sunny San Diego, so you have to be careful. We actually did experience a little bit of weather, so it wasn't completely burning us the entire time, but we got a little lucky there. But
Okay, another thing I'm going to say, slightly at your expense, but not so much, because we got very lucky. Keep an eye on your luggage.
yes, keep an eye on your luggage, especially if you're walking around with your luggage before you check in at your hotel or your place of stay, because obviously you leave your luggage somewhere, there is not a guarantee that you are going to get it back. I was lucky enough to retrieve my luggage after actually leaving it in a hotel bar near the location.
And it was about an hour's difference, right?
Yes,
At least it
somewhere
was
between
close to
45
an
minutes and
hour. Yeah.
And I was extremely lucky.
Yep.
So I didn't have anything that I couldn't replace.
And
but-
that tells you that obviously people are stand up there, at least near the convention center.
Yeah. I mean, nobody touched it. It was pretty amazing. But that's not to say that every place is going to be like that. So definitely, just, keep your belongings close. If you're going to bring a wallet, bring your precious belongings. It's good to have them in a bag that you can keep close. Or if you prefer to keep them in your pockets, just make sure that you're keeping everything safe. The convention hall was full of wonderful and nice people, but in large crowds like that, you do have to be careful.
Yep. And that actually goes right into bring a bag with you. There's plenty of, they had huge totes, even like backpack totes that they were selling, which was awesome. They were giving away a lot of totes. But if you have a backpack you want to bring, that's awesome. You bring your backpack, bring water. You can fill up your water there, bring snacks. They allow pretty much everything. So just bring what you need to bring for an entire day of fun.
Yeah, that was a pretty amazing thing about the hall, is that they allowed you to bring all that stuff in and leave with whatever you want. They had food and drink available inside. We did not see any alcohol available, but there was like Italian ice, there were hot pretzels, plenty of drinks. You are paying
Fries,
you're
nachos,
paying
yeah.
convention prices, but that's to be fair. And there was
But you can also grab that stuff in your panel room and eat it, and they don't give a crap.
exactly. There were a couple of panel rooms that I think they wanted to keep a little bit cleaner, but for the most part, we saw people eating in every panel we went to. So
And we ate in
also
panels.
ate in panels. But again, that I would just want to reiterate: if you do that, please respect the people around you. Respect the not only the people that you're watching, but the people that are viewing it as well. You don't want to be making noises or making a large mess while surrounded by people just trying to enjoy the show.
Just be nice.
Be cool.
Yeah. Silently eat your pretzel with cheese sauce. As much as you
I
can.
think we were pretty silent. I think we were silent pretzel eaters. Yeah.
Yeah, we were pretty good. Yeah. Okay, now here's one thing that I found out, that it's like a maybe you want to do it, maybe you don't. Some of the panels, some of the big ones, you might not get into because the lines are ridiculous, and the panels before it, they don't ask everybody to leave. So some people get there the panel prior to see the next one. Now, I have a problem with that, kind of, and then not. It's one of those things. It's like, do you do it? Do you try to get in? But then you're there even 45 minutes early, and then you still can't get in because everybody from the last panel was in there and didn't leave. We got it both ways. We weren't there for the previous, and then on some of them we were. But those ones actually weren't full when it came down to it. When we were in there during the main panel. So I don't feel too bad about those. So how do you feel about those?
I mean, I know a lot of people had mixed feelings there. We heard a lot of frustration going on when we were in lines that didn't get in. I know one of my favorite panels, I mean, you heard me talk about it all weekend, that this was one of the panels that I had to see. And we were not in the front of the line, but not in the back either. We had made pretty good time. We had gotten to this panel about half an hour early at the very least, probably 45 minutes.
45,
to get there as early as possible. And after waiting all that time, they opened the doors, and what do you think? Probably about 20 people maybe left.
Yep. And they said it is at max
so
capacity.
They allowed a few people in, and it was a sliver of the line. And they said it's max capacity, nobody can get in. Now, what we learned is that, with the rules being the way they are, I do think that it's, I told you this while we were there. If they kicked you out after seeing the session or the panel that you were currently in, that automatically puts you at the back of the line, which means that you can't see the next panel. So it kind of it penalizes you for viewing a panel in the same room that you want to see the next panel in before. So that I understand why they let people stay, but we were, like you said, we were able to kind of start to game that system a little bit, and it's learning the little tricks at Comic-Con that, if you really want to see a panel coming up, it might not be a bad idea to go into the one before, and you might learn a little bit something. Or I know we when we wanted to get there early, we went to the panel before, and it was about this really interesting sounding Filipino comic that really highlights Filipino culture.
That they made movies too.
They have movies, and it seems like a really interesting kind of animated universe that they have called the Deep Fried Universe. And they have multiple characters within, and they have the actors from the movie there, and the creators of the comic book. And so, that was really interesting, hearing about something that I never would have picked to go to, but I really wanted to see the Critical Role panel that was coming up in that room next. So, and we got some pretty decent seats.
Yeah,
we weren't in the front, but we were at a point where we had a great view of one of the screens, and we could still see the panel pretty well. So, it was a win-win.
And to be fair, we could have made it to the front because a lot of people left.
Fair, we could have tried to force our way up, but again, you have to show no hesitation when it comes to trying to get a good seat, because people will just get up and move in front of you, and they will grab that seat. If it's open, they will search for it. So you have to be a bit aggressive to get the seating that you want to get, especially in those crowded panels.
But they're also really good about monitors. They have it so you can see the monitors wherever you're at.
And the monitors really help to get that, close-up view of the people talking, and also the slides that each panel had. They highlighted the visuals of the stuff they were talking about. It was a nice touch.
Okay, now next tip that I would say, very, very important. Schedule time for the exhibit hall, because it is so huge that there is no way you will be able to get through it, even in a couple days, which we know. So you definitely want to schedule at least an hour at a time or more. You think that's a lot, but it's not, especially on the early days when it's crowded. So if you catch it later on in the day, which they close at 7 o'clock, so you got to catch it early, you definitely want to go into the big exhibit hall. Check out all the vendors, check out all the cool stuff. Like they have Marvel booths, they have booths for all the major comic labels, they have booths for all the big anime studios, even they even had a Crunchyroll one. So you want to check all that cool stuff out, but give yourself time. You can't just walk through. It's very, very crowded. Just like the early days, early in the day, you're not going to be able to stop at every booth you want. You're going to have to, walk and see which one you can get at.
Yeah, and like many other conventions, they have like Artist Alley in there. So there's over 100 artists that are available to speak with and buy their art and support their art personally, as well as, like you said, the video game labels. I personally got to go to Dark Horse Comics and Image Comics. That was really amazing. Image Comics, that was an experience. We were lucky enough to see Todd McFarlane's panel our first day there. We went there Friday and Saturday, and we got to hear him talk about mostly the world of Spawn that he has created. Now, he has done cover art for some of Marvel's biggest characters, for some of the biggest superheroes in that genre. He's an amazing cover artist, but he's also an amazing comic book creator in general. He has done the entire process, and now he co-owns Image Comics, and he still pumps out these Spawn comics that are incredible.
And not to mention a toy maker.
Yep,
action
McFarlane
figures.
Toys.
So cool.
Apparently, they're making some of the most complex toys in the industry.
Now, that actually brings me to, that was a early morning panel, and there was a huge line to get in, but it was at one of the rooms that was pretty big, so it could fit a lot of people in there. So we were scared at first because you walk by and then you're like, oh, this is the end of the line, but nope. There's a person down the hallway with a sign saying continuation of line to 6A. And then you have to keep going. And we ended up finding at least 4 of those people with signs.
I think we went down like
until we found the end
hallways and went outside. I think that was where the end of the line was.
And we still got in.
We still were able to get in.
But that's not the case later on in the day. Not the case. But early morning, yeah, you're probably pretty safe if it's one of the first ones.
Yeah, but those afternoon panels, they get really, really packed. So yeah, just manage your time well. Also, make sure to hydrate. Bring water with you. Bring something to drink. If you want to buy drinks there, that's another option. But just, make sure you stay hydrated. You're going to be doing a lot of walking, a lot of moving around, and it does get hot in San Diego. So you don't want to be in any danger of passing out. I know I saw a bunch of people sitting in the lobby, just taking some time to get cool, compose themselves, get back into it, and then continue their day. And something we tried to do and kind of failed was plan in times to eat, because there's so much going on and so many things you want to see that you sometimes forget. We haven't eaten since we left the Airbnb this morning. We should probably check out something to eat, probably off of the convention grounds if you want a meal. So like Gaslamp Quarter offers some amazing restaurants and bars, and that was an incredible experience.
And even the vendors on the street, grab a quick bite, bring it to your next panel. Most of the time they won't say you can't eat there. Just go for it. We had Big Mac tacos, basically. They were called Smash Burger tacos, but it was just like a Big Mac and a taco. It was great.
Yeah, and in Gaslight Quarter, it's basically just a big party. There's a bunch of people out in cosplay there, a lot of street performers. They block off the roads, so it's nice and safe. You're not going to get hit by any vehicles. They have security out there. But yeah, it seemed to be a place where a lot of people were enjoying themselves, eating and drinking, and enjoying all the cosplays. There were some protesters. That was fun and interesting, which there apparently commonly are at Comic-Con. So that was a little funny to see, but yeah. Yeah,
religious types, but it's one of those things, like not bashing on religious types, but they're the type that you see in movies where they have, literally, I saw one of them, they had the thing with the strap around them with boards on the front and back of them with a quote, and they were saying that you're going to go to eternal hell and stuff like that. So you're gonna see
this is a very, very specific type of religious person where they think that anybody dressed up as a character should burn in hellfire. So, which is funny when they're talking to people dressed up in like a Ghost Rider outfit. So.
Yeah. I'd say the funniest part of that was the first day we saw people just ignoring like we did. You just walk back, you don't want to say anything, they want you to do that. But then that one night, it was the third night, we walked by and there was these 2 people just saying, "Oh my God, this is hilarious. Can I get a photo of this? Can I get a photo with you?" It was one of those things.
So the biggest thing to do in situations like that is
just don't be an ass. Don't be an ass like them. Just try to keep it light.
So that was the grounds outside. That was pretty fun and pretty crazy and hot.
And keep your badge. Oh yes, big thing we learned. When you get your badge, on the plastic there's a sticker, and that is what you scan when you go in. It's not actually the paper. You want the paper out because they have different color codes for different days, so they know that when you walk by that you're supposed to be there. But the sticker on the plastic badge, make sure you have that. Do not peel it off.
Don't tamper with your badge at all. You just want to make sure that the day color that you have is nice and visible, and you want it to be visible at all times while you're on the grounds, just so there's no question. It's nice and easy. You can, they have lanyards available for sale. You can clip it onto your cosplay if you're doing cosplay. But just make sure you have that badge nice and visible.
Yeah, next time if they have butts on things, we're going there first to get lanyards. Because they were out when we got there.
Yes, a lovely little place we found. This artist exhibit was called Butts on Things. They have pins and stickers all dedicated to characters in tons of different IPs. I know I personally got a Baby Yoda, a Han Solo in Carbonite, and a Ghostbusters ghost. And it's all just the backside of them with a butt.
Yep. I got the D20 and the Ghostbusters. And you know how you see the logo of the Ghostbusters? It's facing you with their face. But no, they changed it. You're looking from the backside of it. You're looking from the back of the ghost and the nice round cheeks.
Yeah, it turns out Han Solo's got like an America's ass type feel,
Well, he's pretty athletic.
He probably does the squats, let's be real.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Any more tips for during the convention? And then we can get to a few for the end of the convention.
During the convention, decide early if you want to do long format panels or short format panels. We decided to do a combination of both. We saw a couple of 3-hour panels in our first day. It was actually a couple of actual plays of 2 different tabletop role-playing games that, as of this recording, have not been released yet. I believe they're due to be released within the next 2 months or so. One of them's coming out next month, I believe, in August. And the first one was Gods of Metal Ragnarok. So good. It was game mastered by Ivan Van Norman. Great fellow over at, I believe he's still at Geek and Sundry. But he did a great job narrating the story of 6 players that got into a bunch of crazy shenanigans. And it's a very metal, insert devil horns here, very metal experience with your heroes and
with their own album that they made too, to go with it.
Album created by Jason Charles Miller, who is also playing in the game. So yeah, he created the album with some help from other of his musical friends, and he helped create the game as well. Helped to write, I think, both the storyline and the rules. But he is very experienced with other TTRPGs.
And he's actually on Geek and Sundry as well.
Fantastic. I know I've seen a lot of stuff with him on there. So, yeah, so that was great. Basically, they're playing as avatars of these rock gods, and very, very cool concept. The second one was Marvel Multiverse, where you play as characters gifted with superpowers that you might find in the Marvel universe. And this one also just went off the rails very quickly. It was a very fun experience.
Yeah, and some of the little nuances in the game, like the Marvel die, makes it seem so much fun.
The Marvel die was
so much fun. Like, you can have a failure turn into a success just by that Marvel die.
And this was put on by Glass Cannon Network. So they had a team of people playing, and it was pretty crazy. So beyond that, like I said, those were 3 hours each, so that was 6 hours of our first day. So that was quite a bit of the day. Something that we had not planned on was finding out late that the exhibit hall does close rather early. It does not stay open with the rest of the events of the day. So the days that we were there, it closed at 7 p.m. So my biggest piece of advice to you is hit that exhibit hall earlier in the day so that you don't have to worry about it closing up while you're still trying to search for something.
Yes. Yeah, and plan that movie and show premieres will be late at night typically. Typically, they did them around 9 or 10. So you want to do that. They actually show different movies, like old movies and lots of anime at night as well. So you can still keep going until like just right before midnight. We got to see the pre-release of Justice League World, rated R. So cool. It started pretty late, like 9:30, 10, and then we were out by about 11:30.
Yeah, so very fun.
Yeah, so definitely playing that. There's stuff to do late at night as well.
Yes. And I do have one last shout out for the exhibit hall. I know we actually gave them a shout out in our last video about conventions at Fan Expo. So we saw our friends over at Misty Mountain Gaming again. They were there and selling their wares of beautiful, beautiful dice and their leather bags, which they're their modern rugged brand.
Yep, I got gemstone dice.
Oh, your gemstone dice are pretty.
So good. Yep, and you got your amazing duffel bag that everybody complimented the entire time, even in the airport.
Smells of lovely, genuine leather. And it...
with a lifetime warranty.
With a lifetime warranty, yeah.
So, there's that.
Yeah. So I got that, and with it I got their mystery dice or mystery bag set, and got a bunch of some gemstone dice, some metal dice, some gifts, and some gemstone mushrooms that I'm so excited to bring out in future campaigns. So, and this one. Maybe.
With this campaign because of Archie.
Yes, I think Archie will be enjoying these gemstone mushrooms as much as me, probably more.
Okay, now let's get into the ending of the Comic-Con. We learned kind of late, you definitely want to grab those tickets for the Masquerade Ball. We wanted to see it. We didn't realize we wanted to see it until the end. Get those tickets early because holy crap, there is overflow. They actually have places where they show showings of it by remote because there's too many people. So if you are into cosplay and want to see all these amazing costumes, all these people that enter, get your tickets beforehand, which is usually the day before, the day of. There's several places you can get them, but get your tickets. The line never stopped. We sat there for what, 20 minutes? Easily. And the line kept on going.
This was the Masquerade Ball. Masquerade was being held in Ballroom 20, which I believe seats about, what did they say, like 4,000 people? Yeah, so 4,000 people. So, and they had to do overflow in a second hall. So, or outside in tents, it sounded like, maybe, I'm not sure. But
another hall.
So thousands and thousands of people go to this event. So, and it is a highlight of the entire weekend because you see people showing off their cosplays, they give out prizes and awards, and it really is something special that we were sorry to miss, but we know for next time that we do have to get those tickets early.
Yeah, even though it says you can walk up and go in if there's room available, there will not be room. Yeah. So get yourself a ticket.
The tickets are free. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's just kind of like a reservation system.
They are free.
It's more a reservation for a seat than anything. So it's not a ticket that you have to purchase.
Okay, well that's going to be it, man. Any more words of wisdom for those who want to attend Comic-Con for the first time?
Yes, and if you have any questions about Comic-Con, if you want to know more about our personal experiences, if you want to potentially go yourself, check out their early bird specials and their chances to get into the raffle to get in, and then you can reach out to us through Mandrew. What's your Twitter?
Yep, ManNerd.com. TheManNerdPodcast.com, Twitter at TheManNerd.
Yes, reach out to Mandrew, and he will get you all hooked up with all the details for any questions you might have. And if you have questions for me, just go through him, and I'll be happy to answer them myself.
All right, everybody. Well, it was cool reminiscing about this amazing weekend. So we will catch you next time.
Bye, guys. Thank you.